Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Self-Hosted Advantages. Thank you for joining today. So just go through some introductions first of all. So my name's Sam Connor. I'm part of the sales team here at Interface. We're based in the UK, the US and Hong Kong, and we're Bitrix24 Gold partners. So we specialize in helping businesses, first of all, to evaluate Bitrix24 so we can see if Bitrix24 could be a good solution for what you're trying to achieve. And if it is a good solution, we can then implement the system into your business. So we can set it up and design it exactly how you need it to work. If you are interested in the self-hosted edition, which is the system we're going to be focusing on today, then we do offer our own hosting service for the self-hosted system. And we can also then provide training and ongoing dedicated support to ensure you get the most possible value out of the Bitrix24 system. Okay, so first of all, before we go into the self-hosted advantages webinar into a lot of detail, let's just look at what Bitrix24 is as a whole. If you're new to Bitrix24, looking to evaluate the system. So essentially, Bitrix24 is a collaboration suite of well in excess now of 40 different modules that you can use to help you to manage your business. There are over 12 million customers now around the world that use the Bitrix24 system. And the system, it's available in two different editions, essentially. So we have the Bitrix24 Cloud, and then we also have the Bitrix24 Self-Hosted solution. Also, sometimes it's called the on-premise as well. So we have those two different editions. And pricing, so that starts from approximately $49 per month for a cloud-based system. So that starts with the basic cloud license. And for a self-hosted system, so that starts with the Business 50 package. So that would cost you $2,990 in year one. And then in year two and ongoing annually, to continue accessing the system, you pay a subscription renewal fee of approximately 25% of the original license fee. Okay, so as we've seen there, so you have a choice of the cloud and the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24, but today we're going to be talking about the self-hosted edition. So we'll be focusing on that today. In our other webinars, we do cover the cloud edition heavily, so please do join us for those webinars if you have any questions about the cloud system. Okay, so first of all, then let's just take a look at the different editions of the self-hosted system. So essentially, the Bitrix24 self-hosted system is available in two versions. So first of all, we have the Bitrix24 Business Edition. And this is by far the most popular and usually the most suitable for most businesses, because with this system, we have access to all of the standard functionality of the Bitrix24 system, but then we also have additional functionality such as access to a help desk module and e-learning features. So those features that you can't access on the cloud system, you have access to here with the on-premise edition on the business package. And with the business package, you have access to the source code. So it becomes essentially a completely customizable Bitrix24 system. And with the business edition, that starts, as I say, from the 50 user package. So that's where we start with the self-hosted edition. And that goes up to the 500 user package. So as you scale your business, you can increase the number of seats for your system. So it starts at the 50, you can then go up to 100 and follow up there all the way up to 500 seats. And then above that, we have the Bitrix24 Enterprise package. So the Enterprise edition is our most advanced product and allows a company to establish an unlimited number of intranets, which can all be managed by a single global administrator. And that's really important because, for example, you may have a company that operates in multiple countries and you want to have an intranet site for each country. So we could rebrand up each intranet site for each business within their different countries, but then we could manage the users and all of the technical aspects for each site from one global control panel. And then within each intranet site, you could have different languages for each of the countries. So it's really customizable, but controllable at the same time. So that's the Enterprise Edition, and that starts with the Enterprise 1000 package. We also have the Enterprise 5000 package as well, and then it's also possible to add additional seats above that if required. Okay, so moving on then from looking there at the two different editions of the self-hosted, now let's take a look at some of the benefits of the self-hosted edition. So I would say one of the main benefits of the self-hosted solution is simply how customizable the system is. So with the self-hosted system, you have access to the source code. So essentially, we could use that code to completely configure the system, either through creating new modules or adding maybe specific functionality within maybe a certain module. So it gives you the exact process that you need. And that brings us on nicely to look at branding. So within the self-hosted system, we can completely rebrand the system. So from the login pages, the logos inside the site, and with your own domain. So we can completely rebrand the system. So it's almost your own branded products. And if I just quickly, let's go into one of our systems here. So we can see here, this is a self-hosted edition of Bitrix. So you can see here, this is the login page. We have that branded up, so it's our own branding on here. So it's your own corporate feel and look to the system. And we've got our own domain here. Whereas with the Bitrix24 Cloud, this is the login page for Bitrix24 Cloud system. So it's Bitrix24 branded. So there you can see straight away one of the key differences. So we have that branded functionality with the self-hosted system. Okay, so moving on from there, we also have access to the control panel in the self-hosted system. So the control panel is the area essentially for your administrators. You wouldn't have end standard users access to the control panel because it's where we control essentially all modules for your Bitrix24 system. So modules can be configured in incredibly advanced ways within that control panel. So if you are currently using a cloud edition of Bitrix, I think you'll be very impressed with the additional layers of functionality that you have within that control panel. So we'll go into the control panel shortly and see what functionality we have. Briefly mentioned already, you've got access to the source code. So this means if a customization you want can't be configured, say within the control panel, it is usually possible to do this directly inside the code. So you have that complete flexibility to customize the system. Now, in terms of that code, Bitrix is built on its own framework in PHP. So changing source code, it really should only be attempted if you have the experience of PHP, as well as very good knowledge of the Bitrix24 platform, because otherwise you could get into a lot of difficulty and even break your self-hosted system. So it's very important. Even if you think you know PHP, you need to understand the Bitrix framework as well. So that's where essentially alternatively we can come in as a partner and perform this type of customization for you. We've got lots of processes in place which essentially speed up the implementation of customization work. So actually going to a partner like Interface can save you significant time and also internal resources that you can then focus on other areas of your business. In terms of integrations, so we have access to the full API, so it's available on the self-hosted solution, allowing you to integrate essentially with thousands of other applications, whether that's a one-way integration or a two-way integration. You can really control the speed and the time of that integration, so you can control how quickly data is either fed or taken out of the Bitrix system. And then finally, we also have access to additional functionality. So there's a number of extra features that you have with the self-hosted system, such as the help desk, e-learning module, analytics. And as I say, then in addition to that, we have all of that additional benefit that we've just listed there in terms of the customization and the branding of the system. Okay, so now let's take a look at some of those benefits. Let's go into a bit more detail actually on some of those benefits. So we talked briefly there about customization. So really that is one of the main reasons for choosing a self-hosted system. It is that ability to customize the look and the feel of your Bitrix24 system. So the site can be customized to, as we've seen, match your corporate look And then the functionality can also be configured to make using the system more intuitive. And really importantly, it allows you to get bigger buy-in from the user base who are using your Bitrix system. So we'll see in a second, you can customize what modules are actually available for each user inside the system. So it can keep it as clean and simple as you need, and that will help you to get buy-in from new users who start using the system. So first of all, in terms of customization, though, we mentioned this a few times, but styling, so many areas can be rebranded, and we'll take a look at that in some more detail shortly. In terms of editing, essentially any page could be edited, and administrators can create custom pages using the page editor wizard. So in a second, we'll have a look actually at how we can create our own pages inside the system. In terms of navigation, to improve that user experience and save time navigating modules, the links on the navigation panel, they are fully editable, and it is possible to display different navigation items for different sets of users. We can also create dashboards, so it's possible to create custom dashboards to display different sets of data on a page. And then we have the customer portal side. So customer portals, that's available on both the cloud and the self-hosted system, but a very big use case of using a portal is for our self-hosted customers to have that branded up. So you can invite your customers or suppliers into the portal, and then we can have that completely customized with your branding, and also then customize the actual pages and the layout of the customer portal. So you can really control the look and the feel of the customer portal site. And one thing to mention there with the customer portal now is, of course, that external users will be classed as a seat on the system. So that's something to bear in mind for both the cloud and the self-hosted system. And then finally, all modules are essentially customizable. So it's possible to create your own bespoke modules to perform tasks very specific to your business. So you can really customize to your way of working. So let's now go back into our Bitrix system. So as we can see here, we mentioned about branding. So this is a self-hosted system compared to a cloud edition. And if we go into one of our self-hosted systems, we've mentioned how we can customize the UI here. So on the left-hand side, we can strip out any modules that are not required. So you can just have the modules here for that user role that they need to have access to. So again, keeping it simple will help to get buy-in from the business as they start to use the system. And at the top here, we can see the control panel. So this, as I say, this is only available on the self-hosted system. So if I turn on the edit mode here, then we can start editing the system. So whether I want to customize maybe the menu items here, I can change terminology, insert links into this menu. This level of customization you simply do not have on the cloud edition, whereas on the self-hosted here, we're able to start editing pages directly through the control panel section here. And as we mentioned, this really would be hidden for anyone who is not an administrator. We would really only want to have people who are part of the administrator team accessing this control panel, because it is incredibly customizable, but essentially if you do things wrong inside here, this is going to cause issues on the front end here of your Bitrix system. So we mentioned how you could create pages and really customize the self-hosted system. So let's actually take a look at how we could do this within our self-hosted system. So on the menu here, let's go into the company area. Now, we've got here right now just a sitemap so people can easily navigate to different areas of the Bitrix24 system. But let's say, actually, I want to create another tab here, which is where we can store policy information. So in the company module, it's really important people are aware of the policies that we have for the business. So let's now go into the control panel and we'll take a look at how we can create a policies page. Okay, so in the control panel, we've gone into this content section. So this is where we create the content for the front end of our system. And then we can go into our file and folder section, and we're going into the company area here. So essentially, this is where we can create pages for the front end of our company module. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a file. Okay, so essentially this is a file page. So in here, we can add information. This is going to be displayed then on our page for the front end users to access. Okay, so let's say this is our policies page. Okay, so we've added some information into here, but you could use HTML or add images into here. It doesn't just have to be static text. You could insert videos and embed details as of what you would want to show inside here. So it's really customizable to what you would want to display inside here. I'm just showing here some specific text that we can then pull into the front end of the system. So we've got that there. We're going to give this page a title. So let's call it policies page. So we've got that information saved inside the system. So we can save that page now. So we have our page created. Now what we need to do is create a menu item. So at the top of inside the company module, we want to now create a tab to be able to open up into that page. So we go into the menu area here, and let's now edit the menu. Okay, so now we just need to create a title for what we want to call this. So let's call it Policies 2023. And then we can just add our link for the page. So it's in the About section. Okay, so now we can save that information. So we've created the menu item and we've created the page, and there we've just linked the two together. So now let's go into the front end of our system. So now we can see in the company module, we can go to our policies 2023, and there's our policies page with the information for our team. So essentially, that's how easy it is to create new pages inside our Bitrix24 system. It's really intuitive, really user-friendly to be able to complete these pages. But what's really nice as well is you can actually then control who's able to access those different items. So within here as well, what we can also do is if we go into the advanced section here, where we have our policies page here, what we could do is we could create access rights. Okay, so from here, what we could do is say this page is only accessible to certain departments inside the system. So you may have a page in here which is only going to store information maybe for the HR staff. So we could only in now here create a portal page here that only the HR department are able to access. So you can create lots of control as to what information people are able to access at any given time inside the system. So I could come back into here, maybe I add some additional information for another department. So I could come into here and say everyone within our help desk team is also able to access this page. So you have complete customizations on the system. Okay, so that is a look at how we can create a page inside our self-hosted system. So that is looking essentially within the internal side of the self-hosted system. But we've also mentioned how you could have a customer portal where we could invite clients or suppliers into our Bitrix system. Now, with the customer portal as well, again, because we're on the self-hosted system, we have a lot more control as to how customizable that page can be. So if we go into the extranet site here for a client's page, you can see here we've got some banners on the right-hand side. So that's customized thanks to the self-hosted system. So I'm able to create links to different areas of the system. We can also customize the menu here on the left-hand side, so we can strip out anything that's not required. And obviously we've got our own demo interface.com URL, and then you could also brand up the actual corporate look of the login page. As we saw where we logged in earlier on, you could have that completely customized with your corporate branding as well. So you can see here with the extranet that the ways we can add widgets, the way we can have our own domain, how we can customize the login page and the menu structure. It just gives you that greater control and also more professional look and feel to the customer portal site for when you invite your clients into the system. Okay, so before we move on to look at some of the additional advanced features, let's just see if we have any questions. Okay, so can I pull in an iframe on a custom page? Yes, absolutely. So as we mentioned, we just looked there at how we added static text into the page. You could add an iframe into there and pull any really types of information into the system. And here another question, can I have multiple login pages? So I assume by when you say multiple login pages, you've got different departments. If you wanted to have different login pages for the system, so let's say, for example, if we now go back into our system, then inside here, if you wanted to have different login pages for different departments, you would need the on-premise enterprise edition, because that gives you that separate division feature. So with that feature, you're then able to set up your multiple intranet sites, essentially. So this could be intranet 1, we could then have intranet 2, intranet 3, and all of those can have different branded pages for the team. And like I say, if you've got maybe different offices in different countries, then each intranet site could have its own branding. And also you could have the different languages. So if we're saying in England for one, it can be in English, but if we're in France for another department, then the language on the intranet site, then that could be in French. So you can completely customize that for every single intranet site, but that's only available with the self-hosted enterprise edition. So starting off at the enterprise 1000 system. Okay, so we've mentioned how with the self-hosted system, there are some additional features that we don't have access to with the cloud edition of Bitrix. So now let's take a look at some of those features in more detail. So first of all, what we'll do is we'll take a look at the native help desk module inside the Bitrix24 system. So essentially with the help desk system, what we can do is as a client on the customer portal side of the Bitrix system, I can log in to my corporate portal here, and I can see and log all of my support tickets inside the system. So I can see all of my tickets inside here, and I can go into any of those tickets, and I can see a breakdown of all of the information about the changes and communication dialogue that has taken place with the support team. So if I wanted to raise a new ticket, then I could just click on create new ticket. It opens up this form, and then we can fill in the information, and then that will submit the ticket to the support team inside the Bitrix system. The next way is using the support wizard. So with this, we can essentially have pre-populated questions that the customer has to answer. So essentially we can route the request. So we can make sure we're capturing as much information as we require to be able to answer the question for the support ticket. And the third way is we can set up mailbox rules. So if we go into our control panel of Bitrix, inside here we can connect mailboxes. And then when we have those mailboxes connected, we can then create rules. So for example, we could then automatically have a ticket created inside the help desk module. Okay, and then if we go into the help desk area, just to mention the help desk system with the native help desk system with the on-premise, it's in the control panel. So this isn't within the CRM system. This is in the back end of the Bitrix system where your support team can then manage their tickets. So if I go into here, then what we can see is we can then see all of the tickets inside the help desk module. So we can see all of those tickets. You can create filters. So if you wanted to set priority levels, or based on if we're waiting on the customer or on the support team, we could set up custom filters here. And if we go into any of these tickets, we can then see all of the information about the ticket. So inside here, I can see the entire history log of all of the communications, any status changes to the ticket. I can see all of that information inside the system. And what we can do is once the ticket is created by the client, we could also set up support levels. So you can have SLA levels. So when the ticket has to be completed by, based on the SLA level associated with the client. So that is the help desk module inside the system. Now, one element that maybe customers would want with the help desk is this doesn't essentially talk with the CRM system. So if I just quickly briefly show you with the self-hosted system, we have created here at Interface our own help desk module. So with this system, essentially, again, you can create emails from a mailbox. So when an email comes to a mailbox, it can create a help desk ticket. You can also have a ticket created by a web form or manually created by an agent. So with our help desk module, you progress the ticket through customizable stages, and then we can open up the ticket and see all of the information about that ticket inside the system here. And what's really nice is as we progress the ticket through those different stages, then what we can do is we can set up automated actions. So for example, as soon as the ticket comes into here at the new ticket stage, we're sending out a thank you email to the customer, thanking them for their support ticket and that we've acknowledged receipt of the ticket. Or it could be internal actions for the sales team, sorry, for the support team. So it could be creating tasks for the internal team to get this support ticket progressed through the system. So we can create lots of automations here to speediate the support ticket through our support process as quickly as possible. But what's a really nice feature with our help desk system is if we go into the CRM system, our help desk module, it talks with the with the help desk module. So if I go into the customer database, then inside here, inside the customers page, I can click into the help desk and I can see all the tickets associated with this customer. And I can click on the help desk ticket to create a new one directly inside the customers page, and that will link with the help desk module. So if you're wanting a help desk system that talks with the Bitrix CRM system, we have that available here for you. And that, again, is only available for the self-hosted system because we're using functionality within rules on mailboxes that is only available with the self-hosted edition. Okay, so that's a look there at a feature available with the self-hosted system that we do not have access to with the cloud edition. Another piece of functionality that you have with the self-hosted system is the ability to create courses. So here we have an e-learning module. So essentially what we can do inside here is you can create courses with information. So we can have different course types where we have that assigned to our users on Bitrix. They then complete the course and go through the necessary information. And then once they have taken in all the information, we can then have a test at the end, so an exam, to actually make sure that the information have been reinforced so they can actually answer questions on the information about that course. So again, in terms of where we could access this, say as a client-facing side, we can have your courses stored in the customer portal section. So here, for example, we have a health and safety course. So we can open up the course. So we've got some videos here to watch, and I can go through and complete essentially all of the pages of this particular course. And once we have completed our initial information review, so we've gone through the videos, any additional information, we can then complete the test at the end here. So here we can complete 3 particular questions to reinforce our understanding. Okay, so we can answer these questions. Okay, so then we've completed, and I can then view my test results. Okay, so we can see here that I've not passed the test this time, so you can set minimum thresholds for how much someone needs to score before they're able to have that test completed. And that can then be associated with the user's profile inside Bitrix. So you have lots of additional functionality inside here. And then we've not even mentioned essentially how we could use the source code to create, as we've seen, new pages or even new modules within the system. So rather than just having simple information pages like here, you could create whole dashboards feeding information, say, from the CRM system into your own bespoke dashboard modules of the Bitrix24 system. So those are just some of the additional features that we have available with the self-hosted system. There are, like I say, many others that exist as well. And with the API, we could input or take out information through the Bitrix24 system as well. Okay, so there we have a look at our additional features. So now we'll move on to look at integrations. And I think this is really the third critical area where the self-hosted system really comes into its own. So we are able to completely integrate this self-hosted system essentially with any other system where we have API documentation. So what we could do with the self-hosted system is essentially connect this with any other platform, and then we could decide, is it a one-way or a two-way integration of data? So if you wanted to feed information into Bitrix, we could control the rate of how that information comes into the system. If you want to take information out, then again, we can control how often that takes place. And as we've seen with the integrations, we could set up integrations on many different features, such as on mailboxes. So we could create bespoke rules on mailboxes. So for example, when we integrate a mailbox into the system, as we saw earlier on, then what we could do is we could put a rule in place. So if we just come out of here and go to our mailbox, once we have integrated our mailboxes, we can then put rules on those mailboxes. So you don't, again, this is features you don't have with the cloud edition. We could then create a support ticket from our mailbox. So when an email comes into the system, that could then create an email support ticket inside the help desk. Okay, I can see someone has their hand up. If you just want to add your question into the chat box, then we'll be happy to answer that question for you. So yeah, please just ask your question into the question box and we can then discuss that for you. Okay, so that, again, looking at integrations. So that's one aspect. So we've got that additional functionality, but we could also use APIs. So if your other system has an API, we can integrate that with Bitrix. So we've completed many integrations for different systems such as Xero. We've done Oracle Cloud integrations, e-commerce platform integrations. So when an order is placed on your e-commerce website, that could then, for example, automatically create a deal inside Bitrix24. So you've got essentially the ability through integrations to take the Bitrix system to the next level. That's essentially what we have with the self-hosted system. So if you're wanting an all-encompassing system, then the self-hosted system is the way you want to go. Okay, so yeah, if you just add your question into the question box, and I'm happy to answer that for you. Okay, so moving on, we'll look at hosting options. So you have options when it comes to hosting. So you have the choice to host a self-hosted system in-house. So if you have a local server, you can host it there, or essentially you could host with a partner. So you can use our hosting service as well. So for self-hosting, we essentially can provide you with a virtual appliance. So this is a free application that allows Bitrix to run in a pre-configured and fully secured virtual environment. So this saves time on product installation and maintenance, and it will improve the overall system performance. But alternatively, if you don't want to host yourself on a local server, or you can host on your own private cloud, then the other option is partner hosting. So we can provide our own hosting service for you. So Bitrix can be hosted by a partner. That's absolutely fine. And this is essentially what we class as a dedicated cloud solution. So we would host on a private cloud for you. And the benefits of this are all of the server performance is managed by the partner. You don't need to worry about that. So if you are looking at a self-hosted system, but then worried about the IT infrastructure, if you don't have your own IT department, it doesn't really matter because we can manage all of that for you. So we can take away that headache of you having to set up your own servers. We can do that for you. And our servers, they are optimized for speed and control. So they will work essentially exactly how the speed for your Bitrix system needs to be. And we can scale. So partners ensure your data is secured and backed up regularly. But when you maybe start to create advanced functionality or increase the amount of users on the system, the actual server infrastructure, we can scale it without you having to invest in further hardware. And that's a really important benefit of having partner hosting. We can scale for you without you having to introduce further hardware into your business. So essentially, partners like ourselves here at Interface, we are specialists in managing servers Essentially, partner hosting, it just saves you significant amounts of time and provides you with that peace of mind, especially if you don't have your own IT departments. And then that brings us on nicely to look at pricing. So in terms of pricing for the self-hosted system, it starts with the Business 50 edition. So that license is $2,990 in year one. You do need to budget in year two. So to continue accessing your self-hosted system, it is a subscription model. So you need to pay the renewal fee, and that will cost approximately 25% of the original license fee. So you're looking at around $747.50 if you had a Business 50 license for the year two, an ongoing annual subscription renewal fee. In terms of partner hosting, so if you are interested in partner hosting, somewhere in the region of $2,250 for 100 gig of hosting for 12 months. But then you do need to budget for additional functionality. So such as customizations. We've seen how completely customizable the self-hosted edition of Bitrix is. And if you're wanting a partner to help with that customization, you will need to budget for that work. And alongside that, again, with integrations, if you're wanting to integrate Bitrix with other systems, one way or two way, we need to really build out that integration and make sure it works correctly. So again, you would need to budget for this. And also, I would say most importantly, budgeting wise for a self-hosted edition, you need to budget for training and premium support. The self-hosted edition of Bitrix, it's the most advanced edition of the system. If you're wanting to get a return on your investment of using this system, you need to have training and ongoing support so you can really understand how the self-hosted system works. And then we can provide proactive advice as well to help you learn about different features within the system that you maybe don't even aware of that you have with the self-hosted system. So it's really critical to have support and training in place as well. Okay, so in summary, in today's self-hosted advantages webinar, we've seen really the biggest summary point is how completely customizable the self-hosted system is. So from rebranding the system, building your own pages and modules in the system, completely changing the UI essentially, we have that ability with the self-hosted system. We see how we can integrate different functionality into the system. So whether it's creating support tickets in a help desk module or using the APIs to create integrations with other systems. And then we also have extra features such as the help desk module and the e-learning module. But then also with the ability to customize, you could also build your own additional features into the self-hosted system as well. Okay, so thank you very much for joining today's Self-Hosted Advantages webinar. Here are a selection of our up-and-coming webinars in the future. So we're here every other Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like to register for those webinars, go to intraface.com/webinars. Or if you have any questions before the next webinar, just contact us, sales@intraface.com. One of our team will be happy to have a call with you to discuss any questions or how we can help you with your Bitrix24 system. Okay, thank you very much for your time today. Look forward to seeing you on our next webinar. Bye for now.